All right, folks, it's Bass Action back in action. This is our first video of the year. We're going to be doing a lot of these. It'll probably simplify your life a little bit just off the bat here if you subscribe to my channel so that you can easily find all of our videos. All of our geometry videos will be in this one playlist for the first semester. So on this page of notes, you should have your note guides opened to page 8, and we are going to get into section 1.2, and we're going to talk about segment addition. So let's start here at the top of the page, and we're going to take a look at this vocabulary word called betweenness. Now, betweenness can actually get pretty complicated in some of our advanced geometry classes, but for our purposes, we're going to go with a pretty simple definition. We're simply going to say that A is between B and C, and this word here is between is our important word that we're going to look for when we're reading a problem. So we're going to say that A is between B and C. If that's true, then all three of these points have to be collinear. That means that if we want to draw a picture of this point A between A and C, what we would do is we'd give ourselves a nice segment. And since they have to be collinear, we know that all 3 points are going to be on this segment, and I'm going to pick a spot to put this point A, and I'm going to say that it's between B and C, and I'm going to put the B and the C here at the ends. Now, one thing that I want you to notice, I'm going to darken up these endpoints, but you don't actually have to. One thing I want you to notice is that when I put this point A on here, I did not put it right in the center, or what visually looks like the center. We don't want to put something right in the center if we don't know for sure that's where it is, because otherwise we're tempted to think something more specific about it than we actually know is true. Now, a counterexample for this would be to give us the same segment, and we could, let's say, put B and C again on the ends, and we could put A so it looks like it's somewhere between them, but if we put that point A off the segment, now what we've done is we've violated this idea that they needed to be collinear. So that gives us what we would call an example and a counterexample. A counterexample is going to satisfy part of our definition, but not all of the definition. All right, so now let's look at how we can apply this idea of betweenness. We're going to do a really simple concept that most people don't need a lot of really explaining on. And the idea is that if you have, for example, this picture, what we know is this small part of the segment plus this other part of the segment, these two small pieces, would add together to give the length of the entire segment. So that part is pretty easy. We understand that. Part plus part would give us the whole. Where it's going to vary, though, is this language that we're going to be given. So it's not going to be given to us in a picture. We're going to be given the problem in words, and it's going to say that B is between, and there's that word that we just talked about, between A and C, and then we would have to draw the appropriate picture. So let's take a look at an example over here. In this example, what we're going to say is that O is between B and G. So it's up to us to draw this picture. So what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a segment as soon as we see that word. Use my highlighter there instead of my pen. Okay, we're going to, because we use the word between, we know that we're going to have a segment. We know that O is going to be between, so we're going to put that one just somewhere, anywhere on here. And then we're going to say B and G on the ends. Now, this idea of a statement, this is going to come back to us when we start working on our proofs later, but for now we're going to use it to work on the algebra aspect of this. So what we can say is that idea that the part plus the part is going to give us the whole, and now we're going to use that very specific geometry language. So we're going to write that segment BO plus segment OG, those are the two small pieces. Notice that I did not put any bars over the tops of these, and I'm not doing that because I'm going to write an equation. So no bars, because we're going to be adding these segments together. So we're going to say part plus part, BO plus OG, is going to equal the whole segment of BG. And the reason we can make that statement, that mathematical equation, is because of the segment addition postulate. And all three of those words are important. If you want to write them out completely, you can, but you can abbreviate just like that. Now let's look at some examples. How can we apply this idea? How can this be useful for us? So here we are in example 1. We can see that we've got H is between C and I. We've got that key word going on here, this key word of between. And now we're going to specifically be asked to solve for our variable. So the first thing that we want to do is we're going to draw that picture just like we did up above. So we're going to quick draw this picture. We're going to say our H is between C and I. And now we can start labeling. So we're just going to read straight from our picture, or from our given information up here. It says that CH is 7x plus 13. So I'm going to find CH in my picture, and I'm going to write 7x plus 13. And then, which tells us that HI is 5x minus 1. And then CI, now that's this whole thing, is going to be 3x plus 84. So what does this mean geometrically? That's what we were talking about up above, the geometric statement. So we can say our small plus our small gives us our whole. We're going to write that with our geometric symbols. So we're going to say segment CH plus segment HI, no bars, is going to equal the whole segment of CI. Now we can just substitute and do our algebra. 7x plus 13 plus our 5x minus 1 is going to equal our 3x plus 84. Let's do that quick algebra. We can collect everything on the left side, get us a 12x plus a 12 equals a 3x plus 84. Let's go ahead and move our variables to one side. So we'll get a 9x, our constants to the other is 72, and x equals 8, and we're done. So one more quick example here. Again, we're going to read our statement. We're going to see that we've got that keyword of between. So we're going to jump into our picture, draw the appropriate picture. So we're going to put our U is between our H and our B. It tells us that HU is 3x plus 4. It tells us that HB, notice that I gave you the parts in a different order this time. Never assume the order, is 5x minus 8. And then it says that UB is 42. So again, let's write that geometric statement. You really want to get in the habit of those because we're going to use them a lot. So we're going to say HU plus UB equals our HB. So we're going to say our 3x plus our 4 plus our 42 equals our 5x minus 8. We can collect our terms, so we're going to say our 3x plus our 46 equals our 5x minus 8. I'm going to move my variables to the right this time, so I'm going to have a 2x on that side, on the right side. I'm going to have a 54 on the left, so I get an x equals 27. Now, this is where we want to be really careful. So I'm going to slide this up just a little bit, give myself some more room. We want to be really, really careful here because if we come up here and we read this question more carefully, it says to find HU, which means finding the value of x, we are not done. We need to take this value of x of 27 and actually plug it in, substitute in, and find the length of that segment. So we're going to do that last bit. We're going to say HU is going to be our 3 times our 27 plus our 4. So the length of HU is actually going to be our 85. Oops, sorry about that. 85. And I'm going to put a little U here for units because we don't know what unit of measure this segment is being measured in. Could be inches, feet, miles, whatever. We're just going to get in the habit when we find the length of the segment to put a little U there for units. And that's all that I've got. Just make sure that you feel comfortable with this. Bring any questions that you have, and don't forget to subscribe because it'll make the rest of the year a whole lot easier for you.